From The Guardian, the sudden rise of scabies. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. These microscopic mites, which burrow under your skin and cause ferocious itching, are incredibly hard to get rid of, and cases in the UK have soared. What is causing the outbreak? And is there anything we can do about it? What's causing it? What's causing it? What's causing a massive jump in dirty, scruffy diseases that we thought we'd long got rid of, or certainly in the case of scabies, had down to a very, very small number of cases? Well, what's causing it? What's causing it? What's causing, I don't know, Ebola? What's causing Ebola, monkeypox, and AIDS to suddenly spread in Western countries? And I'll give you a clue. Those diseases, those ailments, were very common in poor third world places, continents like Africa, for example. And all of a sudden, though those diseases are starting to become very common in Europe, I suspect I can explain why cases have soared and what's causing the outbreak. I mean, it's not rocket science. You don't have to be a virologist or a Nobel Prize winning medical professional to figure this one out, do you? And I also have a solution. Is there anything we can do about it? Yes, there's one very simple thing we can do about it. I don't think the governing parties across all of Europe are willing to implement my nice simple strategy though, are they? It isn't a medical strategy though, no. My strategy is called the build a 40-foot wall across the entire continent and put machine guns on it technique. Louis Pasteur never thought of that one. Right, now it's controversial that, what I've just said. You would think the best person to advise on these type of things, scabies, Ebola, TB, all the other stuff that are assailing us in Europe, you'd think the best person to talk to regarding that would be a medical professional. Doogie Howser should tell us what to do. But do you know who could give us really solid advice on how to stop these type of diseases? Tom Homan. Yeah, that angry baldy fella. Give him a white coat and a stethoscope and put him in the chair running the NHS, because he will miraculously eradicate cases of scabies, Ebola, monkeypox and AIDS with some sort of ingenious medical technique that people that read The Guardian would have never ever thought of ever. And that technique is called Stop Dirty, Scruffy, Pox-Riddled Shitheads from the Third World Moving to Western Europe. Poof. Problem solved, boys. Because I don't want to sound like, I don't know what I'm talking about. But, I did a week-long battlefield first aid course once. I feel like I've had at least some medical training. Infectious diseases, let me tell you how they work. If someone who has AIDS, for example, folds up and aggressively buggers somebody else, if that happens, there's quite a high chance. Actually, no, it's not that high, is it? No, I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. There is a chance that they can catch said virus. However, if I was to go to, I don't know, where you're not going to get AIDS, somewhere like Dundee, right? The first reason there's less chance of you getting it is because hardly anybody who's got AIDS lives up there. And the second chance is because most of the women are so ugly, nobody shags them. So you're very unlikely to get an STD there. The point I'm making is, I could go bareback in a brothel with 1,000 women 7 days a week. Well, I couldn't. I'm pushing 40, and without medical assistance, I'll pretty much be thumbing it in at this point. But you could do it, and the risk of you catching HIV is zero, because unless you're shagging people that have already got it, you can't get it. That's how it works, okay? Again, you don't need to be Doogie Howser. So, if we get rid of all the people that have got the monkeypox and the Ebola and the AIDS and the scabies, and stop people coming in that have got the monkeypox, the AIDS and the Ebola and the scabies, guess what happens? Those cases go down. Weird that, isn't it? It's very strange. Everyone was scratching their heads about this for 30 years. I could have told them this in 10 minutes. They're all scratching their heads in the 90s going, why is AIDS cases going up? And this is at the same time Tony Blair sent search parties out to Africa and they were bringing in 500,000 Africans a year. The one continent where that virus was galloping around unmolested like Jimmy Savile in the basement of the BBC. And nobody left-wing or in charge could figure out why. Unbelievable. Anyway, rant over. Let's quickly read the story. Louise, not a real name. Yeah, Louise doesn't want to tell you her real name because she's absolutely leaping. She is a crusty, rancid, filthy sack of carrots, Louise. I reckon her real name is probably one of them long, strange ones with lots of consonants in it, like Ubuntu or something, but we'll go with Louise. It's easier to pronounce. A die-hard survivalist preparing for a catastrophe? No, she's a beleaguered 44-year-old recovering from scabies. Unlucky. Still, makes a nice change from crabs, doesn't it? Telltale spots appeared in September, shortly after she'd been wanking sailors off down the docks that weekend. 2 rounds of tropical treatment followed, alongside a frantic maelstrom of laundry. Yep, definitely not Louise. Definitely not. Because all the people in the pictures are white. so you know who they were actually talking to. You know, like that advert they made of people sexually harassing people on the London Underground, and it was always posh ginger blokes in Savile Row suits. Yeah, the exact opposite of reality. That's what they're doing here. A 2024 report from the UK Health Security Agency found annual increases from 2021 growing even more significantly since 2023. Isn't that the year that Boris Johnson invited 3 million unvetted men in from third world countries? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the year, wasn't it? Weird how all these nasty third world ailments have quadrupled. Yeah, I don't get it. Please get Owen Jones to tell us what the real reason is. Experts are grappling for reasons for scabies' growing prevalence. One possible factor is their shortages of permethrin and malathion 2 years ago due to supply chain issues. Yeah, that's what caused it. Yeah, definitely. Nothing to do with unvetted third world immigration. Nothing to do with that. It's supply issues. Well, we ran out of condoms once in the 70s, then we ran out of condoms, and AIDS didn't go up in the gay community. Do you know why? Because nobody in the gay community at that time had AIDS. It was very, very rare. It only seems to have exploded when we started importing people that had it. Might I suggest it's possibly that same way with every other manky third world ailment that's currently assailing us? I'm just putting it out there, Guardian readers. But Michael Marks, Professor of Medicine at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, said the reasons for the rise are unclear, and there's similar trends all across Europe. But that's because of, hostels and shit. Okay, we're done here. If you want to if you're a pervert and you want to read the whole story because you're a masochist and you want to waste your time for 10 minutes, read that piece. And then you'll see why the entire Western world is in total decline, because all of the experts and the clever people with all the letters behind the names, all they can tell you is, we've got absolutely no idea why it's happening, because, as usual, they know exactly why it's happening, but they're not willing to tell you why it's happening. So the Joe Normie is going to be there completely in the dark, as per usual, and say, even the experts don't know why it's happening. Yeah, and they don't know why Norway has got a sudden increase in grenade attacks, and Denmark and Sweden have got a sudden increase in little kids getting rogered down the park by blokes called Abdul. Nobody knows why any of this is happening. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. We just can't figure it out. But I'll tell you what, Michael Gove, the one thing that geggy, pob-faced, lip-puckered, he's just got a face like an arse, hasn't he? The one thing he said that was true is that the public have had enough of experts, because the head of tropical hygiene and medicine can't tell you why all these ailments are increasing exponentially in Western Europe. But Dave the plumber, Bob the builder, and Alan the window cleaner can tell you exactly why all them things are happening. Well done, Michael. You were right once in 40 years. You useless twat. Anyway, that's just my opinion. If you think that's a ludicrous hypothesis and I'm totally wrong, please have at it in the comments. Enlighten me. All right? Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you all tomorrow. Toodle pip. Cheers.